Good afternoon, everybody. It is Tuesday, and that means we have another live episode of Full Out Chats. I am your host, Steve Solberg. Yes, welcome back. Yesterday we had a great conversation with Josh McCurdy. Today we have Texas Tech head coach Bruce Bills, who's going to be joining us, and super excited to talk to him here in a second. But obviously, the only way we can go full out is if we have a little bit of music. So, as every coach says, let's do it one more time. Music's on.
Are you ready? Full Out Chats. Do you know what time it is? We got the right, we got the vision, you lose the sight. We will never stop. We got the drum, yeah. What time is it? We're live in 5, 6, 7, 8.
All right, we are live here. Full Out Chats. Again, welcome everybody. We are super excited to get started here. We have Bruce Bills from Texas Tech University, ready to join us here. And so let's find Bruce. But before we do that, just a special shout out and thank you to cheeranddancemusic.com for the intro music, cheeranddancemusic.com. And there he is.
Hello.
Bruce, how are you?
I'm great. How are you?
Good. Can you hear me all right?
I can. Can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you just fine. Well, first of all, I want to thank you again for doing this. I know all of us coaches are got a little bit extra time more than normal here in March. So.
That's right. It's really different, isn't it, for us to kind of work from home and not know what tryouts and everything's going to look like.
Yeah, I mean that's definitely something we can talk about here. Is the interesting thing about all the college coaches is how are we going to do tryouts this year? Obviously, we're kind of limited. School's a little different in terms of deadlines and things like that. So definitely something that you talk about over at Texas Tech and how you guys are going to do tryouts and everything this year. But I was just telling people also, we've met a couple of times through recruiting events and things like that, but I want to learn about you also. I don't really know you that well, so I'm excited to hear the story also. Kind of see how we all got in this crazy world of cheerleading, And,
that's right. It's always fun, right?
Yeah, right. But, let's start from the beginning. Let's talk about your background. Where did you grow up? Family life, things like that, and we'll just start from the beginning with you.
Okay, yeah, perfect. I grew up in a small West Texas town, about 65 miles northwest of Lubbock. So basically, Lubbock is my home, but the town is called Earth, Texas.
Oh,
so,
wow, okay.
We go off and like, where are you from? I'm like, from Earth, and like, no kidding, we all are, type thing. So I've heard all those jokes and stuff like that, but. Our school was super small, to where there was 2 towns that kind of joined and we had one school. So Spring Lake Earth High School was where I went to. So very, very small, conservative West Texas football town. And so to be a cheerleader was, different for everybody to come along with. But they got on board. So, but grew up there. Parents still live there, work there, all that good stuff. Have an older sister, younger brother. Graduated and they live around the area, so we're all basically around Lubbock.
Okay, so I'm assuming you grew up in Texas.
Yes. Yeah. One fun thing about like Lubbock and Texas Tech, that's the show, in this area, and so I would always come to games and watch the cheerleaders. I would really could care less about the game or anything, but I would remember the cheerleaders, and one of the things that I did. Silly thing that I do, but I learned one of our traditionals in the 6th grade just from watching them. As before we had the camera phones and all that to where you could video people and then go home, but I would just study them at the games, and I would figure out and learn one of the traditional motions that we did. And so when I came into Tech, it's like, wait, this is backwards. I'm like, because I learned it backwards. So it was just one of those crazy things. I was like, oh, okay. But so Texas Tech has always been a part of me.
Absolutely. And kind of how did you get into how did you get into cheerleading? Like what was the first story you can tell, a first memory? Like how did you get into cheerleading?
I think it always I had a passion for it to where it was just something that I always loved. I took gymnastics growing up. I knew that I wasn't like the football player. I like to be athletic and move around and do stuff, but there was something about cheerleading and gymnastics piece of it. So I wasn't like a major competitor or anything like that in gymnastics, but I took classes, did some meets and things around in our local area. So that was something that always interested me. And then just watching them, going to games, and just there's just kind of a connection there that just kind of inspired me and just kept me going. So there's no really major big story other than it was just something that I could continue on doing, that I felt that was a better fit for me with my gymnastics that I could do. It was just an opportunity for me to get involved. And then, I loved that school, from junior high, cheering back then to high school, just, being an ambassador for that. And so that's something that I like to do. And so that was an avenue that I took.
Once again, thank you everybody for joining us. Full Out Chats. I'm here with Bruce Bill, head cheer coach at Texas Tech University. So Bruce, what's your earliest cheer memory?
Oh gosh, there's pieces of junior high I remember. Basically, in the 7th grade, I broke my arm, and so practicing cheers, doing things, and so I would be cheering in my cast and stuff like that. And so I just remember doing some, pep rallies and things like that, to where I'm like, wait, I wish I could do it full out, and go, but the arm. So I remember that in 7th grade. That was my first experience cheerleading. And then there's some special memories in high school, people that I looked up to, just some pep rally things that we did, games, those were super fun, to where, in a small town, everybody comes out for the games. And so the stadium was packed, and, I remember going like district champs and cheering those games and things like that. So,
so in Texas, Friday nights are,
they're the deal. Yes.
Yes. And so tell me, how was it being a Texas high school cheerleader?
In West Texas, it's you don't have a lot of males, and that's still true today. To where even back when I started in 1995, decades ago, I feel so old, but to where it was kind of groundbreaking. To where a lot of, especially the small towns that we played, I was different. I was new. I was, people didn't know what to think about it. So it was a challenge, but something that my family always helped me with, and then I just push through it, to where I just put out the distractions, and this is something that I love, and it made me work harder, to where, I would go outside and I would work on my jumps, I would work on my tumbling, I would work on, make sure I knew every part of any traditional or chant, cheer, whatever formations. That way I could go back and really help practices or games or whatever we were doing. So, but yeah, it was different, but West Texas loves football, and so, once you just kind of make your niche in there, it works for you.
At what point did you tell yourself, I think I can do this at college? This is something I want to do.
It was probably during high school. I started getting some letters of interest and things like that, just from random places. But again, tech was always kind of my focus, and drive and passion, to where it's like, okay, well, maybe I could do this. It being in a small town, to where I never really had a lot of the stunning experience that you needed for collegiate. And keep in mind, this is a little bit different times back in the day. So, skills were a little bit different then. But, I was like, okay, I can push. And so I started taking private lessons with some of the tech cheerleaders. I would come down, I would drive down. It was about an 45-minute drive. And so I would take lessons once a week, just trying to get the experience and just trying to figure this out to see, okay, can I do this? Am I good enough? And so worked about a year or so, just trying to get the basics down. But it was just all really new, different for me. But so I came to Tech my senior year, trying out for my freshman year in college, and I did not make it. And it was one of those things, is like, okay, well, now what do we do? This is my passion, this is my dream, and so a friend of my sister's reached out and connected me with a smaller college, West Texas A&M University in Canyon, just south of Amarillo, so about 2 hours north of Lubbock.
Okay.
And so it's kind of the same area, to where it was a smaller school, a co-ed squad of 6 couples, just able to really push and develop. And so I was able to get on there my first year in college. And so that's really groundbreaking and helped me teach me and learn. And so appreciate that squad and the coaches there. And so, but I knew Czech was my passion. That's where I wanted to be. And so I ended up transferring in my sophomore year, made the squad, and the rest is history. They're not getting rid of me. Hopefully not, right? I'm staying here as long as I can.
So, okay, so after your freshman year, and you then go back to Texas Tech, try out,
Yes.
So after you made the team, obviously one of your big accomplishments checked off. You made your dream team. How was the cheer experience at Tech at the time for you?
It was amazing. To where we were growing, the athletic department was growing, the teams were getting great, and so we had a great football season. I remember a lot of there we go. And that's when my friend Danielle was my flyer. I just saw her a couple weeks ago. She lives in the Dallas area, and she came to practice, and so we were catching up and stuff like that. But yeah, that was a fun game. That was Oklahoma game about 2006, I believe. So, and the weird thing about me is I remember games by what uniforms we're wearing. My boss will show me a picture. What game is that? And I'm like, well, what uniform are we wearing? And I'll just kind of know, but it's a silly little thing that I have. But yeah, so cheering games, the stadiums, the venues were expanding. There's a lot of interest, and the crowd is awesome here. The Lubbock area and West Texas area, a lot of Dallas people come back to Lubbock, and so they really support the games, and it's amazing. I remember my first 2 years, both women's and men's basketball teams made it into the NCAA, deep runs into it. We went to the Sweet 16, and at that time we had about 10 guys that were on the squad. We were non-competitive to where we just did game days. It was a kind of a growing point for a program, and so was able to just invest myself into that game day and get a part of the traditions, and just lived up every moment of it because it was my absolute dream to be there. And so, but we did that, and I remember in 2004, I believe, both teams went to the Sweet 16, and so I was going back and forth. Like I would land, change clothes, and go to the other game, and so it's just non-stop fun. Oh yeah, because I wanted to, and so I remember, I don't know if I went to school in the month of March one year, but that's okay. I made it through. Great professors, worked with them, but yeah, it was a fun trip to where just constantly going, and just made some great memories and friends with the teams, and then also the cheerleaders there too. So
you kind of mentioned it at the time that you were a cheerleader at Tech. You guys were not competing.
Right.
And so did you ever compete or no?
No, I've never competed in my life,
Okay.
as far as like a cheer routine.
Yeah.
So no, I've never done that. And it was something that I never really knew about, to where we had some all-star teams. It was just not my cup of tea, to where I just didn't do it. Obviously in my earth, they didn't have them in my small town. So you'd have to drive to Lubbock. I just never really did that. School cheer and game day was my passion, and that was my interest. And so that's where I just kept things going. And so just in, I'm sorry.
Did you cheer all 4 years then? Did you cheer 4 years at Texas Tech?
I cheered 3 years at Tech, and then the first year at West Texas A&M.
Okay.
So 4 years collegiate, yes.
And what years were you at Tech then? Cheering?
2003 to 2006.
Okay.
Graduated in 2007.
Okay, so you're my age, and so at the time, All Stars was kind of starting to take off a little bit there, especially in this area. I know Cheer Athletics is one of the earlier gyms, Spirit of Texas. There's just Texas is a hotbed for talent for you guys.
Oh, absolutely, yes.
And so, I guess really, yeah, around the 06 time when we're finishing up is kind of when competitive cheer is really
started. Yeah. There used to be a really good gym here in Lubbock, Cheer Extreme, and it's since sold and separated out, and there's some other great all-star cheer gyms now, but that was really the biggest one here in town that a lot of individuals went to. They won a lot of things, but yeah, it was just a different time to where a lot of people didn't do the all-star like they do now, to where that's what you put your kid in at the age since they're walking, all the way through college. So, but yeah, I never did any of that. And, don't regret it because it's led me to where I am and the experiences that I have. And I got some great opportunities working with NCA. I did summer staff with that, as well as all the cheering at Tech, and then just high school and WT my first year too.
So you did do staff, you said?
I did, yes. Yeah, I did 7 years of NCA staff, and I got into it kind of late to where I got apt and everything my senior year. Didn't do it, and then because I wanted to really just invest in the college atmosphere and the collegiate experience and doing all that. At that time, we did summer pep rallies and things to where I wanted to be at all those, and we that's what actually is basically what I wanted to do. So I just did that, but then I got into NCA staff as I was leaving college. So I think about 2005 was my first year, 5, 6, 7. And then I did it for about 7 years after.
Okay.
So did a lot of the area, and I like the small towns around here, so I would do a lot of those camps.
Okay.
To where I would eventually I was head instructor for those and did those camps around this area. So.
Welcome everybody. You're joining us here on Full Out Chats. I'm here with Bruce Bills from Texas Tech. We will be doing a Q&A a little bit later. So at the bottom of the screen, you're going to see a question mark that looks like a deck of cards. Feel free to tap on that and send us some questions. So send us questions here, and we'll be happy to answer them here a little bit later in the interview. So again, just send us your question. That's the question mark box at the bottom. Okay, so when you're at Tech, what was your major? What did you study at Tech?
Well, I changed 5 times. I eventually, you got to find your path, right?
Yep.
I started as math education major. And at that time, they didn't have specifically a math education. You had your math degree, then you got your education certificate, and then you kept going. Mm-hmm. And so I started that, loved math, and wanted to do that. And that's kind of where I was going for. Well, until Cal 2. Calculus 2 and I were not friends. We tried, and I was like, this is not what I really need to be doing. So I switched a couple of times, but ended with business management was my final degree that I got in. So
got your business management degree, and at the time, did you think you were going to make cheerleading a living? Did you absolutely think that was going to happen? No, absolutely not. I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do. I knew like some of the business field of some sort. I knew there was opportunities for me to work at Tech. And so I was like, okay, well, I'll start looking into those. And so after I graduated, I actually worked for the undergraduate admission office as I was a lead recruiter for the West Texas area. Okay. And so I had 84 schools that I visited and, just promoted Tech, which was super easy for me. I love talking about Tech anytime. And so, went around, recruited students for that, just helped incoming freshmen, transfer students. We had some colleges that I visited as well too. There's regret. But yeah, that's what I did my first year out of college. And then during that time, I was also just assistant to the program, to where I was helping the head coach at that time, this overall general program. I worked with the pong, the mascots, and so just did a little bit of everything kind of during that 5 years that I was not head coach. Okay. So I was assistant coach. So for 5 years out of college, you were just helping out before the university, and doing recruiting and things like that. Did working for the university, did that help prepare you really for the position of taking over as the head coach?
It did, because I got a lot of hands-on experience of that administration work. And I feel like that's a lot of people, they don't understand a lot of that, which is fine, because that's what I like to just keep behind the scenes. I want to do the job, do it well, to where then we can make the skills and everything happen in front of the crowd. And so, yeah, that did. It helped me up with a lot of connections. Here at Texas Tech, we're not under athletics. We're in student affairs, which is an interesting, unique piece, but it works for us, and very proud of that. And so that set me up for a lot of connections and just resources that, and that's kind of where I was like, okay, well, I can figure out a job and kind of did some stuff. After the admissions office, I came back into student affairs, where our Spirit program was housed in. It's called Center for Campus Life. And so within that, I did a couple other areas, first year programming, transfer students, things like that, but then still helping Spirit. Then I transitioned into a full-time spirit assistant, so where I took over a lot of the mascot appearances, helped our spirit program director, and just with general administrative type stuff, and then still kind of helped the head coach with the coaching piece of it.
Okay.
And so did a lot of that. That was great experience to have that administrative and just kind of understand how the university works. I would go to coordination meetings, and a football game is not just the football team and cheerleaders and band. There's 10,000 people that work together to make that event happen. And so that was unique for me to see, and kind of before I got into this position, that helped prepare me for that.
Yep. So is your position currently are you a full-time?
Yes.
It's just with the cheerleading spirit squad then?
Yes. Yeah. So cheer, mascot, and then our all-girl team, we compete stunt. And so that's kind of the same title, but separate. So cheer, mascot, and stunt coach. And so all full-time cheer, we have a full-time pom coach, and then a full-time spirit program director. Yep. So we have an office suite to where we all work together, collaborate on a lot of different things, but we just all have our separate areas that we work.
Okay, so you and I are the lucky ones where we can make a living doing this thing. And
absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, because there's so many of us out there that are doing this part-time or for literally peanuts. I mean, just
right, exactly. Yeah, well, let's be clear too. Full-time's we're not football coaches. We're not making millions, Even though, but that's okay. No, I'm very honored and grateful for what Texas Tech has done. I'm very supportive of our program, and it's made a life for me to where this is my happy place. To where I don't go to work. I go to a place that I absolutely love every day. Well, not right now, but because everything's shut down. But it's I don't consider it a job. To where this is what I get to do, and thankfully they pay me a little bit, to go and do it. So it's really, yes, like you said earlier, a lifelong dream to do this.
So after you graduate, you are working at the university, you're helping the team out, then you transition to a full-time assistant position, and then after you said 5 years, you take over as head coach?
I was assistant coach for 5 years, and then the head coach at that time left the university, and so I just applied. I was like, okay, well, I feel like I could do it. I know the program. A lot of the kickback was that I wasn't competitive. I didn't do this. I didn't do, type thing. But, that just led me to, I want to learn more. I want to do it better. And so through the application process, I got selected to be here. So, and then history stands. So 2011 is when I started head coach.
And then during your 5 years, did you guys start competing, or
yes,
you did? Okay.
Yes. In 2006, we got a head coach in. Joshua Anderson was his name, to where he really helped develop the competition element for Texas Tech. We had some competition prior to my year, so 2000 they won the all-girl division. We had an all-girl team at that point. With some administrative decisions and things that went on, they cut that program. And so co-ed kept going, and they would compete, just kind of they did a great job. I'm not going to discredit anything. It was a different time, obviously. Then I came in, and we went through different coaches, and it was just an adjustment. At that point, 2001, they came from the athletic department into student affairs. And so there's a lot of just changes and trying to figure it out and make things better. And so that's when Stephanie Road, our spirit program director, came about and really kind of set the chart for us in the course that we needed to take. And so through a couple coaches changes, things like that, we got Josh in here, and he really set us on the competition. He brought in his knowledge of experience from his days, and then as he was assistant coach at college, to where he really helped get us on that competition path. And so that's where something that I was really looking forward to learning, because again, I can handle the game day. I know the traditions. I know kind of what we can do, and I do a lot of research of watching YouTube videos. I watch Purdue, kind of how is pregame done, and what do timeouts look like, things like that. To where I try to implement some things what works best for here on game days. And so that competition element, since I've never done it, was a huge piece for me to learn. And so Josh really helped, pave Texas Tech in that direction. So
you guys started competing, and then you take over in 11. And when did you kind of realize, man, we're turning the corner here. We're getting really better.
You know, I always believe in the squads. The first couple years obviously was a challenge. Like I said, just different. I had different styles from him. I credit 2015 as kind of our year of turning the corner here, to where I finally got athletes in there that bought into kind of how I was doing it. And at that point too, they didn't know that I was, you know, I didn't have any student interaction with them, to where I wasn't on the squad with some of the members, you know, type things like that, to where it was new. This is kind of how it is. I had kind of had a couple years to kind of get my feet grounded and kind of figure things out a little bit. Still do every year. But so it was about 2015 to where I was like, okay, here we go. And the team that year, super talented, great group overall. And we go to nationals, go through a couple of choreographers trying to figure things out. Finally got one that I work well with and just absolutely adore and love him, to where 2015 we go, this is about to happen. We're about to win. Like, it just kind of felt that way.
Yep.
Well, we didn't. We lost by 0.05.
I unfortunately know that feeling where you lose by such a slim margin that you'll never forget the number.
No, absolutely. And, you know, I mean, credit to the winners there that year. Absolutely great. It was a great competition. All the teams did a great job, to where we were excited about that, to where, so we got second place. And from there, just kind of set us up to where the recruiting kind of helped. The people kind of started buying in and seeing, oh, you can do this. You are good, to where you can give me a good home, you know, for those athletes wanting that. So that kind of helped with recruiting. And then as we developed, obviously 2017 was our first year to win. And then that just kind of helped set us up to where we are today, to where very proud of the athletes that we get. And so the experiences. So yeah, 2017 was, you know, a dream, to where that year from tryouts, you kind of knew and understood, okay, this is our year, to where the team chemistry was good, the skills, you know, from what I learned all the way throughout every year. But 2015, we're like, okay, what did we learn? What did we do wrong in a way, to where we need to get over that 0.05? And so put it all together, and 2017 came out in our favor, thankfully. So.
I mean, the large co-ed division in NCAA, I mean, just like both UC and NCAA, doesn't matter, but it's the large co-ed division 1A is so competitive. I mean, you have such phenomenal, talented people out there.
Absolutely.
You know, I mean, the one thing that I'm so jealous of about NCAA is you get 20. I think 20 it's just such a big difference. Especially we're talking about pyramids. The pyramids you guys come up with in NCAA are always so phenomenal, and having a for people is, well, I mean, it's very beneficial. I mean, you can use it. So after, you know, 15, and then winning your first one in 17, I've told people so many times, if you need to watch a routine, watch Texas Tech 19. That routine is phenomenal. Holy cow.
Yes, it was one of my favorite of all times until this year, which I love this year. But, you know, that's okay. 2019, yes, we'll focus on the positive that we got to do.
Yes, we will talk about NCAA 2020 here in a for sure. One of my very first guest in the show is Lindsay from Oklahoma State.
Yes, yeah.
So, but 2019, you guys put together, in my opinion, just a sick routine. You just talk about 2019 and what were the kind of similarities, but what were the differences between 17 who won, 19 who won, but every year is so different.
Sure.
So kind of what was the difference between 17 and 18, and what were those changes years for you guys?
Sure, yeah, 17 was kind of uncharted territory for us. You know, we knew we were always going to be good and competitive and tried our best to represent Texas Tech in the squad and all that. That's always our main focus, to where 2017, I wouldn't call it luck. That team worked hard, and they deserved to win, and so grateful and honored that they did. We learned some lessons from that. 2018, was a challenge. got in a little bit different team. It was a little bit younger team to where we were really kind of having to make some things happen. We still had uber talent, but it wasn't just coming together like 2017 did, and then 2019 really just set the bar high on that. But yeah, 2018 we challenged some of the skills, and that was something that I learned quickly, that, okay, we don't always have to put the most difficult thing in there every time. Yes, the students and the athletes, they wanted it, but we got to kind of back up a little bit, look at the bigger picture. So with our 20 that we have 11 guys, 9 girls that compete on the mat, and it's really just trying to find the right puzzle pieces. As you know, it's always moving. And so this puzzle piece over here affects this one. And so it's just trying to make that great connection. So 2018, we learned some things. Some things went wrong, and learned from that. 2019, at tryouts, you knew. It was just one of those teams that they already got it. It was older. Some of those that from the 2017 squad were seniors that year. The incoming students that we got, the recruits, they knew what winning was, from their junior colleges or from high school, from All-Star or whatever, to where it all meshed well. They all knew each other from day one. We did tryouts, and I was like, okay, well, let's line a routine up. Like, that's where we were. We were ready to go. And so they worked on that from day one, first practice in the summer, and we just built on that. And so going to Daytona 2019, that was the most relaxed I've ever been. Not over cockiness, but it was, I trusted that team. I knew what they could do, to where I didn't have any worries. We threw some different elements at them, to where, okay, how are you going to adjust on this? What are you going to do if this happens? Well, you make it happen. And so I trusted that team to where, without a doubt, I was like, we're going to do great. And then depending on the judges and kind of what they see and think at the moment, it's up to them. But I know we'll do our job. And so, but that happened from day one. Just a really close-knit group, talented, and it happened again. So very excited and thankful for that too.
Yeah, I mean, everybody that's watching, first of all, thank you for joining us here on Full Out Chats here with Bruce Bills from Texas Tech University. Again, if you have any questions that you want to ask in the Q&A later at the bottom, you're going to see a question mark that looks like cards. Feel free to type in questions. I see we already have 3 or 4 questions. So Bruce will be happy to answer any questions you have for him in that program. I think something that a lot of people, I guess, don't realize or maybe kind of overlook is you guys also have a really good all-girl program.
Thank you. Yes.
It's stunt. And so kind of talk about that program. How did that come about? And decision to compete in the stunt?
Sure. A lot of it was, like I said earlier, that we had an all-girl team when the program was under the athletic department in 2000. Went away, transitioned over to student affairs, and we didn't have it for about 12 years. And so during that point to where I was like, okay, when I was assistant coach, I kept going to our administration. It's like, we need an all-girl. Like, this area of West Texas, they're all a girl. Like, why are we not giving them an opportunity to cheer? And it just serves a different purpose. It helps take some stress off of the co-ed and the dance team, for game coverage, things like that. So I asked probably for 5-6 years in a row, like, give me an all-girl. Like, I'll take it over. We'll adjust some budgets, all that. Finally, 2012, they were like, okay, let's do it. So that was our first year to do it. It was a learning experience for us. We're trying to balance and make sure that they were at the same level as the co-ed team was. And it was a learning experience for me too, because I was doing both. And so how we came up with stunt was, it was an opportunity that it fit their skill level. It helped with the timing of the year, to where how much, where could I give the most to both teams? And so the stunt's very unique, different, but exciting, and I think it's a perfect fit for our all-girl team this year. And so it gives the past few years. So this is our 4th year to compete in it.
Okay. Something that I just noticed being a cheer nerd, and same thing, which I I follow all the Instagrams and the teams because, for me especially, I love stealing basketball ideas,
Right.
for teams because we're so limited what we do in basketball. One thing I did notice for your all-girl team is they only do two-man stunning, it looks like a game, or just a lot. I'm impressed by that. I think that's awesome. It frees up some people. Can you just talk about that? Like, why, I guess, kind of decision on that and why you guys do that?
Yeah. 2012, our first year, we were the normal 4-person group to where you had the 3 bases in the flyer. And through, I'm kind of like you, I'll watch videos, I'll watch other schools. So when we travel, there's a couple of Big 12 schools that have all-girl teams that cheer games as well, too. So I would kind of see how they would do. I would look at other universities and kind of see. And about I'm trying to think, about third year in or so 2015 or so, I proposed this idea. I was like, can we not do this type of stunt? And the squad, just kind of really bought into that. And you're right, it does free up because we were so limited on our numbers. The first year we only took 14, and then we were slowed to 15. To where then I was like, okay, well then that gives us another stunt group if we just go 3-mans. Yep. Or 2-mans is what we call them. And so you get 5 stunt groups as opposed to just 3 or 4. Yep. And so it's just again more visible, more things to do at games. And so that was just kind of a turning point there that we just kept trying it and figuring it out. But then now we do that full time for all our games to where we have a main, a side, and then the flyer. And so, that does to where the squad now is up to 24. And so that gives us 8 different groups to have. And so it just helps with game coverage if you just have those smaller stunt groups. And the girls are super talented and strong. I mean, they amaze me, like what they can do every time. And so I think it's a great fit for us. And I think it helps us develop the strength that we need for stunt as well too, because there's some 2-mans kind of in there for a moment to where we know how to do those already, and then just making everything connect.
So let's talk about the sore, sad subject of NCAA 2020 being canceled. Which, first of all, I couldn't even imagine how I would handle that as a coach if I just all of a sudden was told, hey, sorry, basically. I do think it was definitely the right decision.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
It was obviously a time for our nation, our world that we haven't dealt with in so long. I guess, please talk about that experience about preparing for nationals and then not knowing and then being told, sorry, it was just not going to happen this year.
Yeah. We always try to prepare early. And so we kind of had a routine. We had our skill sets, all that throughout the year. January, we come in, set our final choreography, work that routine. And then end of February, you start hearing about this virus and kind of where it's shutting some other world down. And we're like, okay, what's going on type thing. 1st of March, it gets a little bit more real, more closer to home. And so it was a challenge to where we kept practicing. We just kept going with until they absolutely said no. I was like, we're going to move forward. You kind of saw the writing on the wall, but nobody wanted to say it or admit it. Yeah. And I sure wasn't going to make that call to where it's like, we're going. If we can make it happen, we're going. And so we just kept pushing through and hopefully, hoping for the best. Yeah. And that really kind of helped bring the team together because it was like, okay, we don't know if this is our last time to do this or not. Yeah. Yeah. And so it was just one of those that they got closer quicker than other squads might have because usually kind of bond over spring break and kind of have those 2-day practices and then the weeks leading up after spring break into showcases and then the journey to Daytona. That really brings a lot of people together. But this year it kind of happened a little bit earlier because the uncertainty of everything. We kept going through practices. Again, since we're under student affairs, we're not governed by the Big 12 or the athletics. And so I sent a group up. Some of the all-girls squad went up on a Wednesday for our Big 12 tournament, basketball tournament. Yep. They canceled it. They drove home the next day on that. And so then I believe it was a Thursday that the Big 12 canceled the Big 12 tournament, all that good stuff, and said, okay, spring sports can still go. And so we're like, okay, well, we're going to keep going kind of with that mentality. We go through, practice Friday, have a great practice then. Saturday, Sunday, we come in, have great practice that night. The ball drops to where, however it came out was by social media, some things like that, leaked or whatever the case may be. But again, yes, at that point, you saw the writing on the wall to where when NCAA cancels, when Big 12 cancel, like there's a lot of like, okay, red flags. But again, we kept hoping. Like if there's a will, we're going to try to make a way. And so we did that. Sunday had a great practice. We fixed a lot of things. We're going to come in Monday morning, and finalize our dance. And so Sunday night happened. Then of course the kids are still here, but all the other general students have left.
Gone.
But we're still focused. This is our spring break. We're going to stay together. We're going to work. This is our practice week. And so, texting them, crying with them. I mean, it was hard. Just to kind of get the floor ripped out from under you at some point, especially for the seniors, the ones that, are graduating that are done to where it was sad. It sucks. And so we had a team meeting Monday morning, just again, kind of cry. I had to get all the uniforms because at that point I was like, I don't know when I'll see you again.
No, yeah.
To where we got to have all this stuff back. If something happens, at that point we're still, it might, but you just never knew. And so got all that back, and then we had a team meal that night, and then everybody started leaving, going back home, as directed to kind of get out of town and stay safe, but yeah, it was difficult.
Big senior class? Do you have a big senior class?
Yeah, we do this year. And some of them, they're considering coming back still, as that kind of an additional year, but some of them still have a couple of classes that they could spread out. And so we're working with that to see. But yeah, we are graduating a lot of good talent. So,
I asked this Lindsay because I was like, hey, if you want to show off because you weren't able to eat it, but then I was gonna think like, well, maybe you're basically going to do what you were going to do this year for
right?
Is that the plan also? Are you guys going to probably kind of just use what you already have, or?
And that's what I told the squad that Monday morning. I was like, okay, we all got videos and we all kind of have our stunt sequence and pyramids and all that. I was like, please don't release them yet.
Yeah.
Because I need to take a step back. I need to analyze and kind of see, okay, what can we use?
Yeah.
Should we use it? Type thing. So, and again, it'll kind of depend on the team. Kind of the recruits and the tryouts and how that's all going to happen.
Yep.
To where can we go? Because this team was special and very talented to where that routine was set up for them. And some key elements that I was really looking forward to showcasing, that was developed with them in mind. So, but yeah, there's some parts that I'm like, well, that could be reused again, but so we'll see. But, it was a great routine, I'll tell you that. So
something I'm so jealous for you, just being in this area, is just the talent. I mean, the hotbed, what you guys have there. And like I said, the couple of times I met Bruce in person through recruiting stuff, recruiting and trying to get kids all over. But kind of talk a little bit about recruiting. What are you looking for in a Texas Tech cheerleader, and kind of the ratio of in-state, out-of-state? Just kind of what are you looking for?
Sure. I mean, really, a lot of the best person. I want the best fit for that individual. And I listened to Lindsay's and the other podcast things that you did. I agree. I think everyone should cheer in college. There's a place for someone somewhere.
Yep.
If it's Tech, great. I'm going to help you.
You're an example. That freshman year, you had to go somewhere else, and that's okay.
Yeah, exactly. Like you got to learn and make your path, and don't get defeated by something, and that's kind of where we're using this. Like, use this as a learning tool to where, okay, this got taken away from you, or this didn't happen your way that you absolutely thought it should. Okay, how can you make that happen next time?
Yep.
What are you going to do better? And we kind of have a little saying, BBTB, be better than before, to where we don't settle. To where you got to move on. And so, I use that in my life, but then also with this year, with 2019, okay, well, let's regroup. Don't take those 6 a.m. practices for granted, because at some point, this squad, like I told you, can't do it anymore.
Yep.
And so, but yeah, I'm sorry, what was the question?
Yeah, no, just overall.
Oh, yeah. I really want someone that they want to come to tech.
Yep.
You know, I want to go out and I'll talk to some of them, recruit them, you know, sell tech because some of them may not know about it or whatever, but I want them to want to be here. This is my love. This is my passion. This is my home. And so I want to welcome them in. And so I need that buy-in, but just the all-American kind of overall look to where, like with co-ed, I'll kind of speak both squads, but co-ed, as our routines are going to where you got to be elite tumbling, elite stunts, you got to have some baskets.
Yep.
You got to have kind of all of it. The days of us kind of specializing, oh, I'm elite tumbler, are kind of gone. You know, you got to move around the routine and give us some options there. And so I mean, obviously you kind of have a little bit more skilled tumblers, a little bit more skilled stunners, you know, to help the routine. But if they can do all of it, that always helps them. You know, I want them to be all around good ambassador for the university and understand that they're representing something bigger than themselves. You know, Texas Tech Cheer is in the competitive world. We're kind of new. We're you know, haven't been around forever, like a Kentucky or something with all the different titles and things like that. So, you know, we're kind of still establishing ourselves. Yep. And so I need that. It's like, okay, how are you going to help us raise the bar? How are you going to get back to this program and support it? And so those type of things to where I want good disciplined kids to where they're going to be accountable for what they want, but then also self-driven to where, you know, because I'm pulled between co-ed and all girl and mascots to where they need to understand what's expected of them. You know, we'll give them benefits and things like that just to help support it. But a lot of the character, the drive, all that has to come in play. So, and the same thing for all girl too, to where they need to, I want them to want to come here. You know, that's always the first thing, but, talent from skills, from the strength of the stunts to the tumbling to the just overall game day look for both squads. Like, are you a collegiate looking person that Texas Tech needs on the sidelines? You know, do I trust you to go talk to ESPN after a basketball game or competition or whatever? So a lot of that matters. You know, and nowadays with social media, you know, I go through social media to where it's like, sorry girl, sorry boy, you know, like it's just like, that's not the look that we want. And I know, you know, college kids, we have issues that we try to deal with, and, you know, it's part of it. But if it's consistently over many years of problems, and we get references, and so I follow up on all those checks to see, again, trying to help find the best fit for our program and for our university.
And that's the best way to put it, fit. Definitely, without a doubt. On a personal note, I just want to let you know, I've had 2 experiences with Texas Tech and your kids. First one, I think was 16, 17. I had a partner stunt couple that qualified for UCA. And you guys did too. And I can't remember they've been a new. They've been I believe from Trinity.
Let's see, 2016,
16 or 17. Yeah, they've been on Team USA co-ed. Girl was short hair. Girl was short.
Matt, Sabrina, TJ.
Yes. TJ. The most polite people. Oh, absolutely. My gosh. They were in the warm-up area helping us out, just saying hi to everybody, good luck. Oh, I mean, the nicest people. They were so polite and so nice. And then my other experience, even though I regret to bring it back up, when we played you guys, the Sweet 16.
Yes, I remember that game.
And the guys won that game. And but your kids, again, were so polite in the back room. We were hanging out with each other.
We're good.
You know, I got a picture with the mascot, and they were just so polite. I just want to let you know, like, on a personal level, from my kids have been great, Bruce. I mean, they've been great. They're just risen. They've been very, very good.
Well, thank you, and that means a lot, and that's what makes my heart happy. To where, yes, I want all the talent in the world, but also like that connection, that special personality that you bring. You know, and again, kind of understanding that Texas Tech is bigger than just one person. This is going to go on without me. This is going to go on without that person. We'll have a next year's squad, you know, whatever. So, you know, as long as you enjoy the moment and experience exactly what you can bring, you know, I think that's important too.
Well, I think it's time for the Q&A section. So let's cue up the sound effect for that. Hopefully it works here.
Oh, yeah.
All right, there we go.
There we go.
Time for a Q&A. So let's look up the questions that have been sent to us. Cool. Yeah, let's just go here. How can a high school student begin her recruiting process for college cheer? Great question. Great question.
Yeah, absolutely. We host clinics throughout the year. In normal year, let's talk about that. Usually I have one in the summer. Each of the squads come a week of the summer. So co-ed is usually in June, all girls in July, and then we're all back in August. And so co-ed clinic will happen in June, and then an all girl clinic in July around their practices. And so those are great opportunities to open those up for high school through college age, to where some high school freshmen can come in and start getting experience. And that's found that I found that it's very important, especially for the all girl level. So okay, that different type of stunt groups that we have, and so getting that. But then also with the co-ed, to where you're starting to get experience. The guys feel what it's like. Our girls are out there to where you're able to stunt with them, and then vice versa. Our guys there to help teach the guys and then stunt with some of the girls. And so clinics are the first thing. We have those in the summer, and then throughout the year. Usually October, November are kind of other key points that just kind of works with our schedules, and then first part of February. And I know February's crazy all-star and just lots of stuff going on. We can't do it any earlier. We can't really do it any later just because of the school schedules, and then basketball, you know, and our competition and things like that. I always try to keep in mind of our current athletes and their bodies and things like that. I want to keep them healthy first and foremost. So, but yeah, I would say attend the clinics as you can. I try to put everything out there. Like, this is our program. Look at our website. You know, I'm not going to hide anything. I'm not going to put, okay, you need to do this, but really it's this. You know, so review our website. Make sure the tryout skills are listed there. Not a lot changes each year, to where that's kind of the basic tryout skills that I like to see. Anything more, which a lot of people do come in with more. But again, just make sure you have the basic stuff down to where you can build on that. But yeah, the clinics are always a good indication and kind of opportunity for me to see you work with our current squad. And to make, again, I like people to come to Lubbock. We're a little distance from things, so once you're here, you're here. You know, yes, you can travel, but you know, it's not like Dallas to where you have major cities right around. You know, we're 5 hours away from Dallas. So once you're here, you're here. So I need to make sure that that's the fit for you as well too. So come out, visit campus. We have a beautiful campus, and so make sure it's a good fit for you. Start doing the academic majors. We have tours that you can do, and so really try to make it a weekend out of that. So you go to the campus tours, come to our clinics. You know, if there's a football game or something that you can attend, do that and see what it's like. Follow us around, you know, and kind of see what our pregame is, what our game day's like. And so, but yeah, that'd be my suggestion. Make sure recruiting clinics, and then just making sure you visit tech. You know, come to my office. I don't mind. I'll sit down and talk with you. And so just ask those questions, and just, again, prepare early. Make sure the skills are ready for you, and then just see if you're the right fit. That's the main thing.
As a college coach, I repeat that 100%. Go to clinics, make sure it's the right place for you. 100%.
Absolutely.
100%.
Yeah. And I mean, there's obviously those athletes that make the squad without the clinics because they have other engagements or whatever, you know, conflicts. But the first thing is, yeah, the clinics are always a good helpful indicator.
All right, let's see. What is one piece of advice you would give an upcoming freshman as a coach? So yeah, one piece of advice that you could tell any possible incoming freshman that's about to try out for a college team.
Ooh, good one. Be ready, I guess, is my part, because you're going to be put into a situation where it's going to be stressful. You know, I've been in their shoes, to where I went through our tryouts here. I understand what games are like. You know, the competition element on the coaching side. I know what the year's like. And so just be ready, I think, to be confident in yourself, to where you're going to be around other transfer students or other incoming freshmen that you're around the best of the best. And a lot of other universities are the same way, to where, you may be the best in your high school, and it may have been really super easy for you, but now you're coming into a bigger arena. And so just, again, I would say just be confident, be ready for that challenge. But that always is good too.
I saw it earlier, and it had asked, what are your guys' plans for tryouts?
Sure. We are going to the video process that a lot of universities, if not all of them, are going to where all our details are out on our website again. April 17th is the deadline for them. So there's application, and then once you get that application, you get all the details about it. So there's a game day portion of it. There's our interview skills. It's going to be a little bit different this year with a lot of the gyms and places on lockdown to where they can't get new videos. So I'm allowing some spring floor tumbling, even though I really hate that. Because that's just not what we do. And so it's different, but and what I'm telling people is go outside on a pretty day, do a back tub, do any tumbling that you can in your grass. Just kind of show. Again, this one's going to be unique because I need everybody to put their best foot forward. To where this is a job interview that without being in person. And so you got to kind of be in that mindset of, okay, this is going to set me apart from somebody else, and this is what's going to help me get the collegiate level. And so, but yeah, we'll accept tryouts with spring floor. I get that's where a lot of the videos are coming from, or that's what a lot of people have. And so, hopefully, you attended a clinic and kind of got used to a dead floor at some point, or on the rubberized track at their high school or something. But yeah, we'll do videos and we'll make it work.
Go to the website if you have any more questions about tryouts for them. All right, and here's one last question. My daughter is a level 10 gymnast in 10th grade. She started varsity cheer this school year and comp cheer. It's long, so I can't read it all. But let's just assume it's basically somebody who just started cheerleading, but clearly tumbling, maybe doesn't have a lot of stunting skills. I guess, how do you judge tumbling versus stunting at your tryout?
This year it's going to be a little bit different, but normally I try to keep it equal to where, again, looking kind of for that all around. Stunts, a lot of times you may not have had that experience. Kind of same thing for me, to where when I was coming into tech, I didn't have a lot of the experience or whatever. And so I get that. And if you're able to do the other parts, if your game day is perfect, if your interviews nailed it, if your tumbling is absolutely phenomenal to where I see value for you here, I'm going to work with you on the stunts. We can teach you. We can work up that. And so, yeah, I try to keep them as balanced as possible to where we're not getting a squad full of tumblers or a squad full of just stunning. And so I try to keep it balanced on a normal year. Same thing this year. I'm just going to have to evaluate just a little bit different.
So last question from me, which I've been asking everybody, is what is the one piece of advice that Steve that has maybe changed you as a coach, or something that you base your coaching philosophy on?
I think kind of going back to what I was talking about with the incoming freshman is I was told one time, just be you. Be confident in what you're doing, make a decision and go with it. Make a good decision, obviously, but and then also just stay the course to where there's going to be a little rough waters. It's going to be a little bit of a challenge. And so just accept that, but know that you are there for that reason to where you can be good if you're true to yourself. And so that's something that I was told many years ago, and it's still true today to where, okay, this is what I want. Okay, this is how we're going to get that, and just making all the puzzle pieces fit that. But yeah, I would say be true to yourself, stay the course, and just enjoy the moment too.
These 4 to 5 years fly by. I tell people that all the time.
They do, absolutely. And I mean, in our schedule, much like your athletes in your schedule, it's where you go and you hit the ground running. And that's kind of where it's going back to that freshman question. Like, be ready for that. Because it's not where we have time to really spend 4 or 5 weeks on one skill. You might get one practice on that skill, and then I need it to be executed the next time. Or sometimes it's 30 minutes. Hey, we got a performance tomorrow. We need to figure out something. I try to keep it time management and all that and as much prepared as possible. But, those things do come up to where I need quick learners. And so that's something that just be ready for that too.
As I like to say, sometimes figure it out.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, and we say make it work.
Yeah.
Like whatever happens, you make it work.
Yep.
So.
Well, Bruce, I just want to thank you again. Our hour's almost up here before the live feed will cut out automatically. So if it does cut out, sorry about that. But again, Bruce Bills, Texas Tech. If you have any questions for Bruce, I'll go to the Texas Tech Cheer website, follow them on Instagram. But Bruce, thank you again for taking an hour out of your day to chat with me.
Anytime. Thank you so much for having me on. Good luck with all this. It's a great venue and avenue for us. So I'm excited to be.
All right, we are back once again, as happened before. Me and Bruce had a great talk there, and we were cut off by the 1 hour Instagram live time limit there. So, but I'm glad we were able to get the interview in completely before it cut out there automatically. Again, for those of you that are jumping back on, that darn 1 minute time limit has gotten me again, but that's all right. It was Bruce. Bruce is a great guy, and I'm sure we could have probably talked for another hour, and I'm quite sure I will have him again on my show here on Full Out Chats. But I want to thank you, everybody that did chime in, people that asked questions, great questions. Again, I can't stress some of the things he said enough. Number one is go to clinics. Make sure the school is a right fit for you. Number one, make sure it's a right fit for you. Start early. I mean, I have middle school kids that came to my clinics as middle schoolers who are now on the team or trying out for the team, and it's crazy, but the years fly by, and I remember those kids. And so make sure you show an investment in the school. And, pick the school for the school. Make sure it's the right school for you. It's got what you want. It's got what you want to study. All that stuff is very important. But again, a special thank you to Coach Bruce Bills, Texas Tech University. He once again, 2019, Texas Tech Large Co had great routine. Again, my heart goes out to all the 2020 NCAA athletes going through all that. But, I know that it'll make them stronger, and I know that they'll come back next year stronger than ever. So, again, a special thank you to Bruce Bills, Texas Tech University. Special thank you to cheeranddancemusic.com for putting together our intro music and sound effects for our Q&A. Speaking of cheeranddancemusic.com, tomorrow's interview, my very good friend Mark Coleman, head cheerleading coach at Morehead State University. Mark and I have known each other for years. He is the owner-operator of cheeranddancemusic.com, does lots of choreography around the country and in the world. He also helps out Team Finland, all-girl, who has won ICU the last few years. He's a great guy, phenomenal coach. I'm going to tell you right now, I 100% guarantee we are going to go over the 1 hour limit. So that is for sure happening. But again, tomorrow, 1 o'clock Eastern, we have Mark Coleman, Morehead State University, joining me again tomorrow at 1 o'clock here on Full Out Chat. So make sure you tune in tomorrow at 1 o'clock. And as always, the videos of our interviews will be up on our YouTube channel, Full Out Chats. And also we have a SoundCloud, which if you want to listen to it, you're going for a drive or just need something to listen to and don't want to watch it but want to listen to it, we also have a SoundCloud channel, Full Out Chats, where you can download and listen to these also. So again, thank you all very much for joining. I hope you enjoyed the show. And once again, we'll be back tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern, with Mark Coleman, head cheer coach, Morehead State University. Thank you all again very much for joining. Be healthy and be safe.